Welcome to The Heart of Health Live. There's a place for modern medicine in your life. Learn to use it correctly by getting your toughest questions answered on today's broadcast. Discover modern medicine's strengths and weaknesses. Lifestyle medicine opens the door to optimum health and healing. How you live and what you eat can profoundly affect mind and body. Learn simple solutions to complex problems. God provides the ultimate healing we all desire. He wants us healthy and happy. We just need to understand His plan for our lives and live accordingly. And now, live from Studio 1A in Chattanooga, Tennessee, here's your Heart of Health host, Dr. James Marcum.
Welcome to Heart of Health Live, where you're the program. And before we go on any more, I want to let you know what our topic is. We're going to be talking with Dr. Michael Shepard. He's a professor of medicine. He knows a lot of things. He can answer a lot of questions. Specifically, we're going to be talking about smoking, but he knows a little bit about women's health and a little bit about everything. So we want you to give us a call. Let me throw our numbers out, because as you've known earlier, the people that called the earliest are the most likely to get online with us today. Our phone number, 855-644-3278. Another way you can get a hold of us this evening is to text us. And pretty soon you'll see the text number up on the screen as well. But you can start texting us as well, and we can also get your phone number on. Well, we're so glad you joined us today. I was reading in the newspaper right here in our local paper. It says to stop the kids from smoking, it's going to take money. And I read this with interest, and this comes from the World Health Organization, and they released a report on the global tobacco epidemic on Wednesday. And unfortunately, smoking is still a major problem in America as well as across the world. If you have a problem with smoking tonight, if you want to learn more about that, we're going to talk a little bit about that while we wait for your calls to come in. But smoking is a real issue. We're going to talk about that. They're raising the tax rate by up to 10%. Another new development at Heart of Health we want to tell you about is we now have a new prayer ministry within our ministry. What that means, if you want special prayer requests, if you want to be a part of our prayer team, you can go to our website, heartwiseministries.org, where we will pray for you. It can be anonymously. If you have people you'd like to call and have pray with you. Prayer is such an important thing in the healing process. And God wants to be a part of our healing. He is the great physician. After break, I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Michael Shepard, so stay with us. Give us a call, 855-644-3278.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
The Heart of Health Live is brought to you by Heartwise Ministries.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minute. Would you like to experience better physical and mental health? Then consider volunteering in your community. Studies have shown that youth who give of their time to help others perform better in school, have greater self-confidence, and are more likely to become leaders in society than those who do not. And amongst adults, those who volunteer experience better physical and mental health, lower rates of disability while maintaining their autonomy as they age. And amazingly, these benefits persisted even after taking into account baseline limitations, socioeconomic status, health status, employment, exercise, smoking, and marital status. When we volunteer to help others, we activate the brain's love circuits, which calm the brain's fear circuits, reducing inflammation, thereby reducing physical and mental illness. To be smart requires a healthy brain, so be smart, live to give.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com. Medicines That Kill from cardiologist Dr. James Marcum is now available. In his newest book, Dr. Marcum explains why he believes that medications may very well be the #1 cause of death in America. Medicines That Kill uncovers the hidden risks associated with modern pharmaceuticals and outlines the biblical plan for physical and spiritual health. To find out how to get your copy, visit our website at heartwiseministries.org or call us toll-free at 855-644-3278.
Could it be this simple changed my life? What an amazing and solid yet fulfilling and liberating message Dr. Jennings provides. I loved it.
It is liberating. It frees your mind from all your mental turmoil and teaches you what is really going on.
This book is amazing and makes so much sense. It shows God as a God of love rather than an arbitrary, exacting God.
I am so grateful that a friend suggested I read Could It Be This Simple? It has helped me fine-tune my thinking.
This book not only helps the mind to heal, but helps to liberate the emotions by bringing them into balance. You will be captivated with the case studies liberally sprinkled throughout this small, easy-to-read book. I dare you to read it.
Get your copy of Could It Be This Simple? A biblical model for healing the mind at Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Well, we're glad you've joined us. We're so happy to have Dr. Shepard with us on the Heart of Health Live. Dr. Shepard, thank you for joining us. And tell me, how did you, as a professor of medicine, how did you get interested in medicine to begin with?
Actually, it goes back to when I was a little child. 5 years old, I had a family doctor of my own. Mm-hmm. I idolized him so much that I grew up wanting to be just like him.
Wow.
And he was out of northern Kentucky up by Louisville in the little town of Pewee Valley.
Okay.
And which is now a defunct hospital, but that's where we met and I grew up with him. And when I came back here, I found that he had moved here to retire. And I was able to see him a few months before he died as the man who I wanted to be just like him.
Wow. Talking about such a small world, I think I took care of him.
Yeah.
I think he was one of my patients, if I remember correctly. So that is a very, very small world. And now you're teaching the next generation how to practice medicine?
That's one of the most fun things to do, is that I've done this business now for 30 years. And it's one thing to do it. It's another thing to figure out, what am I going to do for the next generation? Make them worthwhile doctors. And of course I have this passion within me to make sure that people are not just passing out a pill, but actually trying to make people healthier.
Right.
And there's not a lot of that being taught. So I had this need to get in there and start making a difference so that new doctors come out with a better attitude about health rather than just have another pill.
Well, I think education is the key, and not only for doctors, but even for patients. Sometimes the patients are the best physicians for themselves. What do you think about this article? Now, this was by the World Health Organization that, now this, I guess, talks about reaching kids, and they think the way to reach kids is to make it so expensive that they can't pay for it. Now, I know you've worked with smokers before. Share some of your experiences, Dr. Shepard.
I've been trying to get people to stop smoking ever since I was in high school. I used to do smoking classes, non-smoking classes, going from one school to another with this smoking Sam and getting spun glass in their lungs. But what I found is that I don't believe that this necessarily a poverty thing or no money, and if we could make them more expensive, they'll quit. Already kids can't afford them. The average person that smokes is the lower class population, the ones who can least afford it now.
Right.
The problem is it's truly an addiction. They'll do almost anything to come up with their next pack of cigarettes. One of the problems of trying to give them medications to offset that is that they have to have 2 weeks of medicine at one time to buy, and they literally buy from week to week or day to day, finding the coins in their seat covers, in their car, putting together just enough money for the day, buying that one pack a day, and kids often steal them from their parents.
Right. Now, why is smoking such a big deal? Why is it so important that we talk about it? You heard a lot about it several years ago, and then it sort of went away for a while.
That's right. Back in the 1960s and earlier, somewhere about 50 to 60% of our population smoked. And we've really made progress coming back down to the point where, but here in Tennessee, more than 20% of our population smoke. But even with only that small population that smoke, over 400,000 deaths in the United States alone are attributed to smoking-related illnesses.
Now, what are they dying from?
Everybody thinks about lung cancer, emphysema, where they can't breathe. They get to the point where they have to have oxygen, they can't breathe. But it's about the #1 risk factor for a heart disease. And it is a major risk factor in many, many cancers. We think of lung cancer, but breast cancer, prostate cancer, kidney cancer, bladder cancer is almost 100% smokers. It's rare to hear of a non-smoker getting bladder cancer. So it just reaches into every part of our body including peripheral vascular disease, where you lose blood supply to your legs and you can't walk because it's too painful.
Yeah, I bet you affects your brain too.
Yeah. And people who have peripheral vascular disease have about 30% chance of death in the next year.
Yeah. Now, let's say I'm a smoker. I don't smoke, but I come to you and I say, listen, I really want to quit, Dr. Shepard. What would be a simplistic approach? How would you talk to me in the office?
What I tell people is that evidence is pretty clear that if you try to quit on your own, the quit rate or statistical success is about 8%.
Okay.
That's 1 person out of 12 might make it after trying about 6 or 7 times. So I think we need more than that. Since we realize that it is not just one thing, it's not just a bad habit. It's true that when I have my cup of coffee, I gotta have my cigarette. When I step outside, I gotta have my cigarette. When I sit in the car, I gotta have a cigarette. So it's a habit. But it's also what I call the thumb sucker.
Okay.
It's my binky. When stress hits me, when something goes wrong, I have a fight with my wife, my boss yells at me, I gotta have something to cope with the stress. It becomes a good stress reliever. But it's also an addiction.
Okay.
C. Everett Koop came out with that in the 1980s, where they mentioned that smoking, nicotine, is as addictive as heroin and cocaine. So if you don't deal with that addictive behavior, it's almost impossible to get off of it.
Okay.
What I recommend, however, is one of 2 things: either a nicotine supplement, using a patch, and then adding to that something for occasional need, as an as-needed basis, like gum, or even better, nose spray, which you can get from your doctor, which is nicotine nose spray, or the newer medication called varenicline, which is by prescription only, where you start taking it, within about 2 weeks, you just kind of lose the drive to smoke.
So this deals with the addictive component of it. So you sort of
allowing you to have time to deal with the habit, getting away from the habit, allowing you to have time to come up with another coping skill instead of having you handle all at once.
Okay, well that's very good. And so don't do it alone, realize it's addiction. And some people have to quit more than once before they're finally able to break the habit.
Oh yeah, especially since most of them are trying on their own. They're not really trying to do something. A lot of people say, well, why would I take nicotine to try to help me quit? I'm trying to get off of nicotine.
Yeah.
Now what you're trying to do is get off of cigarettes, because they're what kill you. Nicotine's only negative is it's a mild vasoconstrictor. Reduces blood supply slightly while they're smoking. Nothing else. It doesn't cause any other harm. So you can do it for a while, over months, while you're trying to get off of the nicotine, and you've been off of the cigarettes from the day one.
Well, now occasionally I get a question about these electronic cigarettes. What are those?
Electronic cigarette is simply a little piece of plastic in the shape of a cigarette that when you light it up, the tip turns orange, so it reminds you you've got a flame out there. And then as you inhale on it, you're inhaling little bits of nicotine.
Okay.
And it too helps people smoke. The only concern, there has been a question of additives within that make question whether it's as healthy.
Okay.
But it does reduce all the other nicotine, not nicotine, but the radioactive phosphorus, all the tars that are in that really cause the disease.
Now you did mention this medicine called Chantix that's on the market.
Chantix or varenicline, yes.
Oh, so it's the same thing?
Same thing.
Okay, good. Well, that's good to know, because you hear that word Chantix a lot. So the same is very
The downside to that is, as I tell my students, that there is no such thing as a healthy pill.
Right.
Okay? So there is some risk to it, and one of the biggest things you need to talk to your doctor about is the potential of increasing depression and the potential for suicide. And you've got to be watching yourself, and your doctor's got to be watching you while you're on it.
Good. Well, we're going to about ready to go to break now, but a couple things on the cigarettes. Do not do it alone. Realize it's an addiction, and there's some tools to help you. Now, these tools aren't forever either.
No.
You know, just for a short period of time to get off the habit. And, you know, I like to add the spiritual component. You know, if you have a God, a relationship, let Him be part of that. Let Him give you some power, too. After our break, Amina is calling on the phone. Amina, we're going to get to your call with Dr. Shepard after the break. You can be one of our Facebook friends if you want to, and keep track of what every program is going to be about. You can give us a call live, 855-644-3278. You can also give us a text message, and we'll try to get that on the screen too. We're just so glad you're watching Heart of Health Live, and we have questions, Dr. Shepard, from all over, and a question one person asked, it applies to many other people. We're going to try to get to as many questions that we can. Amina, we're going to come back to you after this short break, so stay with us. We're going to get back and answer questions after this break on Heart of Health Live.
Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Heartwise Ministries and these adorable sheep want to remind you that every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, the Heart of Health Live is all new with an exciting guest. That's 6 p.m. right here on this station.
Heartwise Ministries would like to invite you to take a moment and connect with us and share your thoughts and comments. You can join the conversation on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. HeartwiseMinistries.org will help you stay up to date with what's going on. And of course, you can always watch past shows on Vimeo.com. I'd like to think that one day, when we get to heaven, we're going to see a list of people like Jared and Susan, who were introduced to Jesus because of something we said. Or maybe it was as simple as a passing smile. But these people will look into their past and be able to say, I'm here because of you. Recently, you may have heard that Heartwise Ministries has begun spreading the gospel to the young, the old, the sick, and the healthy using this very television program. But we need your help. We want to take this type of medical programming to the non-believer and the person who has closed themselves off to traditional forms of outreach. If you believe as we do and want to support Heartwise so that together we can count more names on the Tree of Life, please consider donating today at heartwiseministries.org. That's heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, our special guest today is Dr. Shepard, and he is a professor at the University of Tennessee here in Chattanooga. And he's done a lot. He's sort of treats them from womb to tomb. Unfortunately, Amina dropped off, but Laura, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Laura, go ahead with your question for Dr. Shepard.
Hi. I have had 2 brain aneurysms and 2 strokes, and I have chronic pain every morning, and I take Excedrin, and I'm on all these medications from the doctors. I take so many medications I can't even list them. For depression, to seizures, to sleep medications. It's just ridiculous, and I can't take any pain medication from the doctor. I refuse to take it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get addicted. So what is your answer for me?
Well,
what's your recommendation?
I have to agree with you in trying to avoid the pain medication. I think pain medicine has a great role in an acute injury. You fall, you hurt yourself, you break a leg for a week or 2 while that's healing. It's a good idea to have some pain relief. Chronic pain medication, I think, has more problems than it's worth. You wind up having to ratchet up the amount of medication you take, and it creates more problems than it's worth. It causes constipation. You almost invariably get addicted. You wind up having to take more and more medication every year, and it's dramatic, some of the problems that it gets you into. Is what I tell people, that I won't guarantee them that they're going to be without pain, but if you want to increase your function, Not necessarily get rid of pain totally, but increase your function so you can actually do more, get out and go to the store, get out and go see the friends, go to a picnic. You need to get yourself physically stronger because as your body is able to tolerate, you will be able to tolerate the pain. But that means you're going to have to get some physical therapy and work with somebody that will keep you physically stronger and get out and physically strengthen yourself with walking. God's way of dealing with depression is sunlight, exercise, and family.
I'm not trapped in the house.
But I recommend highly that you get into someone who's going to strengthen your back, strengthen your stomach, strengthen your arms. Otherwise, you will not be able to tolerate the pain that you deal with.
Yeah. Hey, Laura, have they actually found out the cause of your pain?
It's from the brain surgery.
It's from the brain surgery. Okay. So, is there anything that they think that is that going to heal in time, or is that going to continue to be there? Okay. So I think those are great suggestions.
Also, pain medications, your typical narcotics, don't do much for pain that is nervous system related.
Yeah.
It just does not work. Actually, Tylenol probably does as much as most of the narcotics do. And of course, some of the newer medications originally described as seizure medications do better for pain from the nervous system than does narcotics, and I'd recommend those before narcotics.
That's a good point. I had a patient one time that was on a medicine called amitriptyline, and that helped her, that type of pain, even more than anything else. So they might have to, there might be some different things that maybe aren't as dangerous that she could try as well, and you might want to talk to your doctor about that, Laura. But that was such a great suggestion about strengthening the rest of your body, make some more endorphins so that you can tolerate the pain better.
That's right.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call.
I'm so glad you guys are talking about smoking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, Laura, we're going to go on to another one. Thank you for your call tonight, okay?
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. Paulette, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Paulette, go ahead with your question.
My question is about my high blood pressure. And I've been doing everything I can to bring that down, but I'm not sure why it's not coming down.
So you want some
all my other numbers are fine. My HDL, my LDL, my cholesterol, everything. That's the only number that is still high.
How high is your blood pressure?
Weight, I'm doing the best when it comes to the 8 laws of health. And I'm not sure why that is.
Okay, well, we're going to let, Paulette, we're going to let Dr. Shepard talk about blood pressure a little bit.
Most blood pressure is referred to as essential hypertension because they used to believe that it was essential to getting older. I don't believe that. I think it really created by our lifestyle, our diet, and our weight is the major issues in what we have that creates that. Doing the 8 lifestyle changes that you're talking about is extremely helpful. I know which ones you're mentioning. Extremely important to realize there are a few cases in which that won't be true. Something referred to as renal artery stenosis, for instance, but that's usually where the blood pressure is very high, and if it's recent, they can do something about that. You may have to talk to your doctor. But long-term stuff, that won't change. And so it really comes back down to medications. You also have to make sure that some of the medications you're using work together. And then, as I tell my residents, you got to go back to the source. We don't get hypertension or high blood pressure because we're lacking in a pill. We get it because of our diet, and we have to change that to where we get back to nature, a plant-based diet, and the activity level, getting our weight down.
I am on a plant-based diet. I'm a vegan, and I eat 2 meals a day.
That's very helpful. As I mentioned, there are a few instances when that's not adequate, and then I'll have to refer back to your regular doctor for some of the testing. There are a few that are more difficult.
Yeah, and you know what? If they can't find out the cause of it, some people do need medications to bring it down. So there is a place for modern medicine. You know, we don't reach for that first, but you know, some people do need a little medicines, and sometimes the risk of the high blood pressure is greater than the risk of the medicine.
You bet.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call, Paulette, and we hope that blood pressure comes down at least a little bit tonight. Take some deep breaths. Maybe that'll help a little bit too, okay? Thank you for your call, Paulette. Okay. We have Troy on. Troy, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Go ahead, Troy.
Hi, Dr. Shepard. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question. I have gout, I'm 43 years old, and I've managed it quite well, and I've realized I had it probably about 3 years ago. Now, I have a question about black beans. I've had gout flare-ups after eating black beans, but I've researched that beans are good for gout, but too much protein in a diet could be bad for gout also, and I'm not sure what to think about it. Do you have any idea?
That's actually some interesting insight, because gout is actually elevations of a chemical called uric acid in your bloodstream. And as that gets too high, it has nowhere to go. It supersaturates, and so it says, here, stuff it in a joint, get rid of it. And as it gets stuffed into a joint, you get hot, swollen joints that are very, very painful. And if you look at some of the old medieval paintings, it's always the prince or the king who's got his foot up on the ottoman with a big hot swollen toe. And it comes primarily from our rich red, I call them deli meats. But you're right, even if you eliminate all the meat and the deli meat specifically, your sausages, your pepperonis and organ meats, excessive proteins will ultimately lower it. So you do need to make sure that even beans, while they're good for you, they're one of the highest sources of protein. You need to keep the volume down, and you also need to really push a lot of water and to keep that uric acid level down.
You know, and it's interesting, Troy, that, you know, Americans specifically take too much protein. You know, it's one of the, we take more protein than we need. We're going to go at the break right now, but Troy, thanks for your call. You can read us at the Heart of Health Live, 855-644-3278. After break, we have Samina on that's going to be talking and asking her question for Dr. Shepard. And remember, your question, many other people have it, so keep calling in. We're going to be right back after this break.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance, when to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing? I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org. Hi, I'm Dr. James Marcum, speaker, director of Heartwise Ministries. And at Heartwise, our goal is to bring people into a relationship with the Heavenly Father using modern medicine and the healing principles found in the Bible. We teach people that there is a place for modern medicine and a healthy lifestyle, but it is in a relationship with their Creator where ultimate healing can occur. Over the past years, our ability to share this message of truth, love, and healing around the world has increased exponentially. But to continue this steady growth, we need your help. We are looking and praying for 100 individuals willing to give $1,000 a year. If the Spirit is moving you to become one of the Heartwise 100, won't you consider donating online today at heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Well, that was a great question by Troy that called us before break that had some gout and cut back the protein, more water. Now, some people do have errors in metabolism, they genetically need a little help, and there's some medicines called allopurinol that might help the production from getting too much. But
there's even a newer one on the market that's supposedly a little easier on the kidneys.
Good.
So the doctor has at least two choices that he can help you lowering it.
Good. Amina, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Go ahead with your question, Amina.
Yes, I quit smoking about a month ago, or maybe a month and a half, cold turkey. But I had about a year and a half ago, my thyroids were taken out because I had growth on them. And so they gave me some levothyroxine, 0.0100 mgs. And I quit taking that, you know, and I'm a vegan right now. I don't eat any meats, predisposition for diabetes. So I eat 5 little bitty meals, and I've dropped from 254 down to 160 pounds.
Wow.
And my muscle mass is going away, but I've been snappy and rude and crude. Is it the levothyroxine? I stopped taking it because I don't want any synthetic anything sent me now.
Okay. Well, Dr. Shepard, let's talk about levothyroxine.
It's really important. If they've taken your thyroid out, that's an organ right here behind your Adam's apple that we may actually think of it as the power plant for the whole body. It's what gives you energy, pushes your hormonal supply, the estrogen, progesterone, the testosterone in males. It really is what gives us our drive. Without it, you're going to gain weight. You're going to have a hard time losing weight. You're going to actually have moodiness, depression, fatigue. So this is one time, I'm going to tell you, you need the pill.
Yep, I agree.
A lot of times I don't agree with the pills. I think we should change lifestyle again. I applaud you for quitting smoking. I applaud you for the vegan diet, both of which I think is wonderful. But none will replace that thyroid. The levothyroxine, or levo just means left-handed, and thyroxine is the thyroid molecule, and you need that. If you don't have that, you're going to have problems. I recommend you get back on it. In fact, I would recommend breaking it in half for about 2 weeks and then taking the full amount, because starting right from the top can get you irritable and be hard on your heart too.
And your doctors monitor the amount.
We do. We check the level and make sure it's where it belongs, like your body normally would.
Amina, congratulations. You've lost so much weight. That is wonderful. Did you feel a lot better once you lost the weight?
Yeah, it's the Lord, because I didn't want to take insulin.
Well, congratulations. I'm just so
told me.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud of you.
If I lose the weight.
Amina, we would love to hear from you after you've taken the thyroid for a while, and I bet you start really having a little more energy too.
2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, you'll feel a lot better.
Dragon.
Well, thank you for calling us, Amina. We appreciate it. Thank you.
God bless.
We have another question they wrote it in. It's a rather sensitive question, Dr. Shepard. And this patient has boils, and we'll talk about what boils are on the private parts of their body. And they want to know, is there any suggestions you can have for boils that are in delicate parts of the body?
A boil is simply an infection below the level of the skin.
Okay.
It'll raise up the skin, it'll get hot, red, and very painful. And you have no trouble knowing if you have one, because you can't sit down, you can't walk. Anything that comes close is very hot, very painful, and very sore. The basic treatment hasn't changed in hundreds of years.
Okay.
You want to draw the infection to the skin, heating it up with hot compresses. Some people use old-fashioned poultices and so on, and they do work with charcoal, mustard plasters. But heat will draw the infection to the skin. It'll usually rupture, because that's the most important thing. You have to get that open and draining.
Right. Get the infection
Usually
out.
I recommend you let your doctor do that, because it can be a mess if you don't. You have to drain that out. And then we recommend that literally for a short period of time you get on some antibiotics to clear the infection that's causing it. But the best treatment is and will not get better unless you bring it to the surface and drain it.
Bring it to the surface and drain it. You know, in smaller ones, you know, you can do that and you can squeeze
the little
it.
pimples you can.
But I guess the bigger ones you have to be more careful with.
And you'd have to be careful about squeezing, because as you compress, you can actually push it into the tissue and spread it.
Good point.
And make it bigger.
Good point.
You know, anybody's watched TV, has seen some of the Clint Eastwood movies or something like that, where he just takes a knife and plunges it in, gets rid of it. That's basically the idea. You drain it. Don't recommend doing that, but because it's a lot easier to have it drained by your doctor.
Okay, well,
and there are some special ones down, especially in female body parts, that are treated a little differently. Even have to suture it open or put a little catheter in it.
Yeah, so they might even have to go see their doctor on this one.
I think you're going to have to.
Okay. That was a great question. Julie, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Go ahead, Julie. Julie, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
I have the H. pylori.
H. pylori, okay.
And they also said I had E. coli.
E. coli?
And they gave me 3 antibiotics, but they made me so sick. And I was wondering if there was anything else I could take.
Okay. Dr. Shepard?
Yeah, H. pylori is a very interesting thing. Many moons ago, when I was in my first year of residency, somebody came up with the idea that ulcers were caused by H. pylori. Nobody believed them, including me.
So that's an infection in the stomach.
Infection in the stomach, a bacteria, because it was so hard to grow. You couldn't find it. You do it dozens of times, once in a while, get this H. pylori to grow. The surgeon's number one surgery in those days was stomach resection, vagotomies, the Roux-en-Y, all those that they used to do. Almost don't hear about them anymore because we now know about H. pylori. We can kill it with some antibiotics.
And what would someone do if they can't take the antibiotics?
The problem with the antibiotics is, one of the side effects of antibiotics is they aren't smart. They kill anything and everything they can, including what belongs in your stomach. Okay. 2 ways of handling. Number one is, if you want to keep taking it, which I think probably the best way to eradicate it, probiotics.
Okay.
And very high, you can buy those at any pharmacy, grocery store, and the probiotics put back in your normal bacteria that belongs there and helps you fight it.
Killing. Okay.
And it helps you put back what the antibiotics are already killing as you do. Nausea, upset stomach, diarrhea are common side effects with the antibiotics. You were probably given another one to lower acid levels, because by lowering acid levels, we prevent the actual ulcer. It doesn't fix the problem, but it does keep getting an ulcer. So if you can't take the antibiotics, at least you stay on that one that lowers the acid levels to prevent you from getting an ulcer, even though it's there. But it can make you sick in the long run. You not feel well if you don't eradicate it. So if you can really stick it out, it's a tough one. It's so hard to buy. You have to at least 2 antibiotics along with that for a full 2 weeks.
Do you think taking it with food might help?
Taking it with food will help, and the probiotics really do make a big difference.
Okay, Julie, thank you for calling from Texas, and we hope that helps you at least a little bit, and we'll be praying for you that you can finish this course of antibiotics and eradicate that infection. Thanks for calling, Julie. Okay, unfortunately we have to go back to break. It's time for another commercial, but we have another couple segments left. You can still squeeze your call in. Give us a call, 855-644-3278. And Maggie from New York, we're going to be back with you after a break. If you don't want to call us on air, you can go to our website. That's heartwiseministries.org. We'd like to encourage you to join us on Facebook and learn who our guests are and be a part of our family. And also, if you're interested in having special prayer or being part of our prayer team and joining us in helping us help others, go to our website, heartwiseministries.org, and Nick will help you with that. Stay with us. We're going to be right back with Maggie after this short break.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Heartwise Ministries would like to invite you to take a moment and connect with us and share your thoughts and comments. You can join the conversation on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter HeartWiseMinistries.org will help you stay up to date with what's going on. And of course, you can always watch past shows on Vimeo.com. I'd like to think that one day, when we get to heaven, we're going to see a list of people like Jared and Susan, who were introduced to Jesus because of something we said. Or maybe it was as simple as a passing smile. But these people will look into their past and be able to say, I'm here because of you. Recently, you may have heard that HeartWise Ministries has begun spreading the gospel to the young, the old, the sick, and the healthy using this very television program. But we need your help. We want to take this type of medical programming to the non-believer and the person who has closed themselves off to traditional forms of outreach. If you believe as we do and want to support HeartWise so that together we can count more names on the Tree of Life, please consider donating today at heartwiseministries.org. That's heartwiseministries.org.
Heartwise Ministries and these adorable sheep. Want to remind you that every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, the Heart of Health Live is all new with an exciting guest. That's 6 p.m. right here on this station.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
In our last segment, Dr. Shepard was letting us know that sometimes if you have problems taking antibiotics, specifically for those dealing with H. pylori in the stomach, sometimes taking a probiotic will help. And sometimes, changing, some of the habits when you eat it with food helps. I think that's very important to know. That's a very good tip. Maggie, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Go ahead, Maggie.
Hi, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be on with you guys. I watch your show all the time in the morning on 2ABN. It's very helpful to me.
Thank you.
I have a question. I have cancer, breast cancer 5 years ago. I had chemo and radiation. I was in my mid-40s. Hi.
Go ahead. Maggie?
Yes, and then after 5 years, I've been taking tamoxifen. This is my last year. But now, there is a study said they add 5 more years to it. I don't want to take it for 5 more years because it gives me a lot of side effects. What can I do? Can I stop it, stop taking it, or just change my lifestyle?
That's a tough question because I'm not there to judge the tissue, how much problems you are. I will tell you that if you've managed to make it 5 years without any recurrence, you're a very fortunate woman. I also encourage you to change the lifestyle and get yourself into a very plant-based diet because it's very open and well documented that plant-based diets have a very low rate of cancer, specifically in breast cancer. The people from other countries have come here where in other countries breast cancer and heart disease is almost unheard of. Adopt our Western diet, then we get breast cancer and heart disease. So going back to a plant-based diet will not only prevent more cancers, but also help heal. But I would tell you, I would ask specifically why he's adding 5 more years, but I would be hard-pressed to give you an advice without knowing a lot more
about the tissue types.
Tissue types and everything. It's very complicated because there are multiple types of breast cancer.
But I think that's great advice for her. Things that can help would be to eat a plant-based diet, get fat off the body, since fats can make estrogen, which can stimulate those things, and exercise. Those are all things that can help even if she does need the medicine.
That's correct.
Okay.
Women who exercise dramatically lower risk of breast cancer. If you're less weight, less cancer risk. So all those do help you.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best, and we'll be praying for you. Brian, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Go ahead, Brian. Brian, you there?
Doctor, you're speaking to Brian. Actually, me, I do have a problem with my blood pressure. Actually, I'm an epileptic, and I've been using Lamotrigine, and actually it appears as though it increases my blood pressure.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a specific question, Brian?
Yes. So I don't know what should I do, because when I approached the doctor had recommended this Epilam, but the Epilam it appears it's giving me insomnia.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to have to maybe ask some questions to clarify things a little bit.
Yeah. If I understood you correctly, you said that you were taking something called Lamotrigine for the
That's right.
seizure disorder. And could it be aggravating or causing more of a blood pressure? Was that correct?
That's right.
And what can you do about that?
First, there is a possibility that it's aggravating. I wouldn't expect it to do very much. Before I would decide to stop the medication, I have a long heart-to-heart with my neurologist to make sure that you're going to be well controlled on something else, because the seizure disorder is far more worrisome to me than the hypertension. I'll go back to what I said before about the diet, getting into a plant-based diet, and getting some exercise so that you get your body in more physical fitness, because we do know that it's a diet, body weight that causes high blood pressure. So go back to the cause of the blood pressure and you fix it that way. As you exercise, it not only will lower the blood pressure, but your whole physical fitness will go up, and you'll feel a lot better with that.
Yeah. So give that a try. Yeah, give that a try, Brian. And if that doesn't do it, talk to your doctor, and he'll see how much important that medicine is for you. There might be an alternative medicine if he thinks that's causing it. And in rare cases, when you have to take the medicine, sometimes he might have to do something to combat the side effects of that medicine. So we'll say a prayer for you, Brian.
Diet, actually, I'm a vegetarian already.
Good. And this might be one time when you have to use something for your blood pressure on top of the diet and the exercise. But remember, this Lamotrigine is a medication designed for your brain.
Yes.
Okay? If it's designed to get in and do something to your brain, it's going to affect other parts of your brain, including making you sleepy and doing other things like even changing your sleep patterns. So that's not terribly surprising. And one thing, as he mentioned already, check with your neurologist. There might be something else that will work just as well with fewer side effects. And every person reacts differently to the medication.
Yeah, he might be able to try something else, and that might help things out a lot. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your call, okay? We're wishing you well, okay? Our next caller is Pam, and Pam's calling from Kentucky. Go ahead, Pam. You're on with Dr. Shepard.
I'm sorry, this is the first time I've gone through TV and I saw y'all. I think it's wonderful because, you know, I've been going through a lot of doctors and I can't seem to get an answer. And God knows if y'all could know it, but I got poisoned off Peter Pan peanut butter 5 years ago. And for 2 years, I kept laying here, thought I was going to die because they kept saying I had a virus. But this stuff was, I can't explain it. It's unexplainable, but what was coming out of me. But I had to throw away carpet, $700 coat, leather coat. And every time I went to the hospital, they give me a blue coat that had a virus. Then they said I had colitis. Well, then it finally came out and said, if you got this number on peanut butter, you've been poisoned, salmonella. Well, I had 4 jars of it, and I ate 2 of them. Well, the whole time I was trying to build my health up, I was destroying it. Well, then I had a colonoscopy, and then after that, my gums come apart from my teeth, and I went down to a university hospital, had my teeth pulled because they said that where I laid here, you know, I couldn't hardly walk or nothing because it would come out like water. And I really suffered to it a lot. But anyway, I went and had my teeth, and I took care of them. My sister worked for a dentist; she kept them clean and all that. And I just thought I lost it when I lost my teeth, but
Hey, Pam,
Anyway.
Pam, we're going to have to go to a break in a second. Do you have a specific question for Dr. Shepard here?
Well, I've got a lot of tumors, and okay, the doctor said there's nothing wrong with my mouth, and my gums are swollen, or they're not hanging it down. After I got my teeth pulled, I got a tumor in my back where I wear a back brace. I got a tumor down below my jaw, which they said they'd had to break my jaw. But is there a reason behind getting the tumors?
Okay.
I'm active. I'm skinny. Too skinny, matter of fact. I don't have no appetite no more.
Okay. Well, Pam, we have to go to a break in a second here, and we're going to try to talk to and address some of these issues regarding the peanut butter and the tumors and ways you can be healthy. So just stay on the line. We're going to go a short commercial break, and we'll be right back. You're watching Heart of Health Live. Our guest tonight is Dr. Shepard. He's a professor at the University of Tennessee. He teaches the next generation of doctors how to treat patients. We're going to be right back. You're watching Heart of Health Live.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org.
Medicines That Kill from cardiologist Dr. James Marcum is now available. In his newest book, Dr. Marcum explains why he believes that medications may very well be the #1 cause of death in America. Medicines That Kill uncovers the hidden risks associated with modern pharmaceuticals and outlines the biblical plan for physical and spiritual health. To find out how to get your copy, visit our website at heartwiseministries.org or call us toll-free at 855-644-3278.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hi, I'm Dr. James Marcum, speaker, director of Heartwise Ministries. And at Heartwise, our goal is to bring people into a relationship with the Heavenly Father using modern medicine and the healing principles found in the Bible. We teach people that there is a place for modern medicine and a healthy lifestyle, but it is in a relationship with their Creator where ultimate healing can occur. Over the past years, our ability to share this message of truth, love, and healing around the world has increased exponentially. But to continue this steady growth, we need your help. We are looking and praying for 100 individuals willing to give $1,000 a year. If the Spirit is moving you to become one of the Heartwise 100, won't you consider donating online today at heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Well, we're in our last segment now. We're not going to be able to get to everyone's call, but we're going to try to at least address that last call from Pam, and we got one more call that we're going to go to. Let's give her some general information, might help Pam do better, or a place where she can know where to go next.
First, I think you have things that are all different. I don't think that you can put finger on one thing that's going to be a problem. Salmonella gets into packaging goods, whether it be lettuce and eggs, and it's not terribly uncommon to find it in things that are packaged like even peanut butter. Usually you get sick. That clears up once you're taken care of. I don't think that correlates to the colon, but it's a good idea to get a colonoscopy looking for colon cancers. It's very important to take care of your teeth. Back in the Middle Ages, the 5th cause of death came from teeth.
Wow.
From the bacteria causing endocarditis and health challenges. They died from all the problems from their teeth. We forget to take care of our teeth. We have all the soda in our mouth. I can't tell you anything about the back tumors or what the problems were. I do highly recommend, however, that you find somebody who's not just going to be giving you pills, but give you some ideas on lifestyle and how you take care of that.
Yeah, and she's really going to need to see someone that will sit down and listen to her and go through everything in detail by detail.
One who's very natural based, a naturopathist or a family practitioner who will listen to all those.
Right.
And it'll take some time.
And we're going to pray for you, Pam, and if you want special prayer, go to our website, leave your name, and we'll make sure we put you on our prayer list. Janet from Trinidad, you're on with Dr. Shepard. Go ahead, Janet.
Okay, good evening. How are you?
Fine, Janet.
I had a niece who had boils problem, and the doctor recommended that she take iron tablets, and that iron tablet that she took got rid of the boils eventually. So I heard the preacher and person ask about, what she could do about the boils. So I was wondering, what do you think? Do you think that iron would be effective in helping get rid of the boils?
We might have some you want to clarify that?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand totally the question here.
Go ask her.
You're talking about iron?
So I'm saying that this patient took iron tablets for boils.
Yes.
Iron for boils.
And that did help.
And it helped her boils.
So my question is, do you think that the iron was effective for that?
I have to tell you, I doubt it, especially as we get older. We lose iron primarily with women because of their periods on a regular basis. Men, we don't lose iron. And most people eat a lot of meat where there's all kinds of blood in the meat, giving us more iron than we ever needed. And those who are a little older remember the band with the old people's music, and they were sponsored by Iron Poor Blood, Get Your Geritol. And I'm not sure how many people we ultimately killed off because high levels of iron actually contribute to heart disease. So I don't recommend taking more than you need.
This was a 15-year-old teenager who the iron had.
I doubt you will have any effect from iron for boils. I know of no studies or any effects in which iron is going to assist in helping treat boils.
And usually it's used for anemia.
Usually for anemia,
Iron
and
deficiency
almost exclusive
anemia.
for that.
Okay. Well, thank you for your comment, Janet. And unfortunately, everyone, we're out of time on Heart of Health. We want to thank Dr. Shepard for joining us, and hopefully he'll come again. And we want you all to remember that there's a place for modern medicine, there's a place for lifestyle. But it's in that relationship with the Heavenly Father where the Holy Spirit gives us power to learn and change, where we can also find great health and great strength. We also want to remind you, if you want special prayer, go to our website, or you can join our family, be a part of our Heartwise Ministry prayer team, or join us on Facebook. Till next time, I'm Dr. James Marcum, wishing you the best of health.